Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Tashana. Let's get into this. So, hi guys. I hope all is well. Oh my goodness, we are going to be resuming back to the periodic table shortly, but we need to get through these messages first, okay? So maybe since Saturday, I've been getting references to wolves, right? And if you know anything about wolves, then you know that they are said to be the most spiritual animal. They are connected to the Navajo tribe, mainly Native Americans, right? So they're indigenous to this sacred land, right, that was stolen, taken, overthrown, right? The natives of this land were tricked out of their spot, if you will. And I did a little research and I found out that in this area, the government literally preys on them and takes them out. So I started comparing that overall ideation and just the whole idea to African history, black people. And then I took it a little bit deeper and then I said, wait a minute, this is referred to spiritual people. When I seen the part about the wolf being hunted, I knew the creator was trying to tell me something. And then usually when I get signs and downloads like that from the universe, I try to wait to see if it's something for me specifically. And honestly, I do believe that this was my message, and the creator wasn't like giving it to me for you all, but then he had me observing other things, right? Cats, birds. And these are highly spiritual animals, right? Especially cats and especially wolves and especially birds, right? Each of them have their own significance as it is related to certain cultures, and then as it is related to spirituality, the dynamics or the relationships with involving those animals start to shift a little bit, right? Now, what I thought to be really interesting was some of us have these connections with these animals already, and sometimes it's just as simple as your ancestors shape-shifting in this particular physical form, right? Because remember, we need flesh, we need clay to function and to operate in this realm. It can simply just be one of your ancestors coming to visit, give you a message, protect you, or just because they want to hang around, right? And usually their hanging around is related to more so some aspect of their journey that needs to be tended to in this dimension, right? And then you have just the overall spiritual link. So we know that birds are messengers, right? They carry messengers. They sit up higher so they get to see things from a different perspective. Usually that perspective is different from all of the, the perspectives of those around it, right, in comparison. And then these are flocky animals, okay? There are some breeds that are independent. They don't really flock, but most birds, they travel in families, just like wolves, right? Cats are pretty independent, but it made me realize that each of these animals that we have given much investigation to, right? We've invested a lot of time in investigating and learning what we could from these animals. So I would assume, right, that these animals are important not only in other cultures, not only in the spirit world, but in the universe. They carry vibrations that are higher than that of the human, right? They're tuned into other vibrations, and we've talked about frequencies. You know how babies and animals have the ability to see and hear into realms other than this one. They're highly sensitive to the unknown, right? As far as this time frame is considered. So I just wanted to use this as a springboard for the conversation of us being able to recognize when God is speaking to us, when the universe is speaking to us, and when we need to pay attention to some things and investigate. Okay? Because I've been getting a lot of downloads about wolves. And again, I had to make sure this is something that the Creator wanted me to discuss. And initially he said no. I had got the first download about a week ago. And I said, okay, if I see this thing 2 more times, then I know the Creator is trying to tell me something. And I seen it 5 more times. So I knew this was something that the Creator wanted me to pay attention to. Even if we didn't talk about it, I knew that this was the Creator's way of conveying something. So it's important when you start getting downloads, especially about animals, pay attention to what they mean spiritually, and then look at what other cultures say about them. Usually you'll start to find something that resonates, something that you can agree with, something that is related and connected to your spirit. Okay? You would more than likely find something that is correlated to your mission, your purpose, your history, your family history, right? Your blood, and just maybe that particular culture or the information that's resonating with you has a lot to do with the things that the Creator wants you to incorporate into your daily life, or, you know, your spirituality, your understanding, your perspective. You know, a lot of us don't have a good relationship with the environment. So if you're a spiritual person, it is indeed imperative for you to learn as much as you can about animals, especially animals that are indigenous to where you are geographically and to where your forefathers are from, right? So if your ancestors are from Africa, you may want to learn about the animals that are abundant there, right? If you are in India and your ancestors are from Africa, maybe the elephant is important, right? There are some animals that are specifically bound to certain areas. And these animals, they give us history lessons, right? Even without considering our family and where they may be from and what, you know, any of this may be trying to tell me. Just look at the animal itself. I mean, do a history lesson on that. Some of these animals migrate from one region to another, and usually it happens for a reason and at a particular time. Okay? And if you're able to pinpoint those things, you'll be able to have better insight on what the Creator is trying to tell you as it relates to those animals in particular. I do understand that some of us don't know where we come from. If you ask the creator where you're from, he'll tell you. Okay? And to be honest, most of the chosen are from everywhere. You have a little bit of everything in you that will allow you to connect with people from different backgrounds, right? And they're usually different from the culture that you've grown up in, the culture that you believe is, your actual birthright and your compass. Most of the time, your ancestors and your forefathers come from a place that's totally independent, because the creator wants you to tap in to multiple ways of life, multiple things, because learning about different cultures will allow you to learn about the creator. Okay? The creator made this big old universe, right? There's different species of animals, people. There's different types of weather, different weather patterns in one area, right? Like, look at this North America continent, right? For the most part, this area experiences all 4 seasons, right? But then you go to Africa, they only have 2 seasons, even though it does snow in some portions. Not the entire continent can attest to the idea that they have experienced snow. Like, some people in California have never seen snow, depending on where they are geographically. So this is all important, not only to your growth and your understanding, but just to the idea that you want to be in a space that will allow you to be free in both directions. So you should be able to be free in who you are, right? And then your ability or your desire to connect with the things that you just want to simply learn about because it resonates with you. You should also have the ability and the functionality to also dwell and be prosperous in those areas as well, right? You should never feel like you are, trying to learn about something or tap into something and you're having a hard time because people don't like you, because you're black, or because your hair is nappy, or because your hair is straight, or because you don't smell good, even though that's horrible, right? The premise is to build yourself up enough to be able to become a tool and a resource in any environment. Okay? And before we go, I just want to say, do your research on these animals, because they're telling us a story, and the more the creator speaks to you about these animals, the more you'll be able to understand your history. Okay? What is the creator trying to tell you when he allows you to keep seeing the same thing over and over again? And it doesn't have to be with animals, right? If you keep hearing a word, maybe you should look that word up, and not just its meaning, not just on the surface, right? Where is the root word coming from? What country, what language is this root word stemming from, right? We can learn so many different things from just doing a little investigative research. All right, but I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I do love y'all. I hope y'all are drinking your water, eating your fruit, and sipping on your own tea, because it's free, okay? And I hope y'all are chilling. Love y'all. Peace.